Hello there friends, and welcome to another video in this series on how to create a WordPress theme from scratch. And in this video we're gonna do the services page. So we did the design here in the last video, and now let's do the services. The services page is actually going to look almost identical to the design page, but we need to create a new custom post type for the services because we don't want the same post type for both our designs and services. Otherwise, everything would be right here in the same page, and we don't want that. We don't want to separate the design offers and our services offers. So first, let's head back to our backend and to our pages. And in here, let's find this services page right there, and let's add a featured image. And for our services, probably let's use this one here. All right, and then we want to change the page template from services page to just do the default template there, and let's update. Okay, and then let's go back to our front end, and let's go to our services page. All right, so now we have this little nice header. So let's head back to our file structure, and in the last video we did the design plugin, so we're going to recreate this one here. So in our plugins folder, let's create a new folder and call it CIY underscore services plugin, like this. And then, as always, we need to create a new file, and we need to create a file with exact same name, CIY underscore services underscore plugin.php. So we can close this one there. And we close the functions file. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to go into our last plugin, CIY design underscore plugin, and actually just going to copy all this, and let's paste it in. And instead of, we're going to change a few things. So the plugin name needs to be CIY services plugin, and the description, an easy way to add our services you offer your clients, and then code it yourself, guy, and then change the text domain to CIY underscore services plugin, and then change the package up here as well to our services plugin. All right, and for the security thing here, for the absolute path can stay the same, and then this line of code here the same. We're gonna create a functions.php file as well. So let's save that, and now let's create an index.php file. So index.php file right there, and up here let's open up our PHP tags, and then a little comment. The silence is golden. Save that, and let's close that. All right, so if we go back to our backend and let's take a look at the plugins, and then we should be here. All right, so we got the services plugin, so we can activate this one right now. Right, okay, since we haven't done anything in it yet, it doesn't show up here, but it will show up here as a custom post type. All right, let's head back to our file structure, and we're going to create this functions.php file. So let's do new file, and let's do functions.php. All right, so in this functions.php, let's open up our PHP tag, and then let's add a comment, and a package needs to be the text domain, right, like this one here. Let's paste that in, and then a comment just doing functions for our services plugin. All right, now let's recreate our files here, or functions. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna register the post type. So services post type. All right, so let's do function. Let's set up services post underscore type like this, and then in here let's call a WordPress function. So it's called register post type, register underscore post underscore type, and takes in we're gonna create we're gonna create a few well, an array. So let's take care of that. And first thing is the name of the post type. So we're gonna call it services, like so. And then let's create an array. And in here we need labels. Okay, and the label is going to be an array because we need several of these. So the same as before, we get the name. Name should be services, and then singular name. Singular name is service, obviously. Then a comma, and then add new. So the label for add new, let's see, I misspelled that name. Okay, and this should be add new service. Service, and then add new item. So same here, the exact same name, add new service. And then we need, if we want to edit, which we might want, edit item. So this should be edit service. All right, and then we want to search for it. So search items, and let's do search services. All right, so that's about it for that one, and then the comma after the bracket. All right, so now we're going to add a few other things here. So I'm going to add a menu position, and for this one I'm going to add 6, number 6. All right, and then we're going to make it public, make it true, and then exclude from search, like this. Let's make that true. All right, and then has archive. Okay, so you want to create an archive page. Let's do true, and then after that rewrite. And let's create an array for this one. So we're gonna create a slug, and the slug should be service. Okay, and after that let's add a meta box. So let's register meta box cd, and let's call this one CIY underscore services add meta box. All right, turn the menu icon. I'm going to use normal dash icons, admin users, and then show in rest. Let's make that true. And after that, what it supports, and let's create an array. So we want the title, and we also want the editor, and we want the thumbnail. All right, that's that. Now let's head back here to add. Okay, so let's add action. All right, so first we need to initialize this one, so init, and then let's bring in the name of this function up here. Let's do semicolon at the end. Let's save that, and let's see, require once. Oh, actually, we need to since there's plugin PHP Online 16. Let's well, let's refresh here. All right, so let's see if we can activate. All right, works fine. Okay, so we get the services here, and if we go in here, I already created a few before, so that's that. Let's click on one maintenance, and it looks nice. It has a featured image and everything. So let's head back here, and I'll also show you this one here, show in REST, what it actually does. Let's comment that one out. Let's refresh on our backend. So now you have the classical editor. A lot of you actually prefers this one. So if you don't bring in this show in REST, this will enable Gutenberg, right? So if you don't like Gutenberg, don't put this line in here. But I actually kind of like Gutenberg. I'm probably only one, but it's a good way to you should know this one at least, in case your client wants the new Gutenberg editor. Right, but that's that. Let's save that, and let's go back here and refresh. So now you can see we will have the new Gutenberg. So the post types are by default using the classical editor. Can be good to know. All right, next thing we need to do is I want to create some new columns for my custom post type. So create new columns, and I'm going to show you where these are going to be displayed. So here, right, just like last time, we're going to use the same price and description. So in our last video, we did the design. So what we did was in the functions file for this one, we used this function here. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one. Let's go back here to functions and let's paste it in. Okay, so first I'm going to change the name of this function to services. All right, then we're using one parameter of columns, the variable columns. Then we create a new variable, call it new columns with an empty string, sorry, empty array. All right, then I will populate this one. So we get the title. This is going to change to design type. This is what you're going to see in the front end. Then we're going to add price, and we're going to have the title of price, and then we're going to add a message, and that's a description, and then return the new columns. And then we add a filter, so manage. So here we need to change. So this is actually a bit dynamic. So it has to have the same name as the custom post type. So we're going to change these designs and change that to services. Services posts columns. All right, so it's a plural on these two here, posts and columns. And then add the function name as usual as the second parameter. All right, so now you got that. Next thing we need to do is we need to display, tell WordPress to display the meta. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a new function and call it CIY underscore services underscore columns, and in here it's going to take in two parameters. So first parameter of column, and then it's going to take in the post ID like so. And now we're going to use a switch function here. So switch, and again take in the variable column as a parameter, and in here the first case is going to be for the message. Okay, and in here gonna have echo the excerpt. So get the excerpt like this, and then semicolon at the end, and then we'll stop that case. So let's do a break. So semicolon at the end, and then let's start a new case, and this is going to be for the price, and a colon there, and then in here let's we're going to create a variable for the price. So we're going to call this variable price, and it's going to be equals to get post underscore meta. Okay, so that's a WordPress function. And here we're going to bring in the we're going to call the post underscore ID variable, and then we're going to add the CIY, and in this case services field. So CIY underscore services field. All right, so the services change, this here is also dynamic, so it has to bring in CIY services. In our previous video we did for the design field, so then we have CIY underscore design field. All right, so it's a little bit dynamic, and after that we need to bring in make it true like so, and then semicolon at the end, and then let's echo this variable price, and that's it, semicolon at the end, and then let's stop that case here, break, semicolon, scroll up so you can see, and then we need to add an action, add action, and once again we're going to do a manage underscore, and in this case services, then posts, and then columns like so, and then the next parameter is the function name. Right, so now right, yes, CLI services for columns, and then we're also going to take in the priority where to display it, and also in the next view how many arguments this one takes in. So you can see it takes in 2 arguments, so we're going to add that it takes in 2 arguments, otherwise we will get an error. Right, semicolon at the end. All right, let's refresh, and we got an error, I think. Let's see, let's go back here and see what we got. Press design type. First of all, let's change this service to services, and new columns, title, price, new columns, right? Manage services posts columns, then CLI set services columns, the function here is services columns, column, could be this one here, let me see, Yeah, no, it should be column. Echo get the excerpt, right? Put the price. Get post meta. Okay, actually, let's see. Probably need to add maybe a meta box, perhaps. This is what it should be. Actually, yes, we don't have the price yet, but it could be why it's not showing up. Maybe that's why it's throwing an error. All right, let's add the meta boxes as well. All right, so I'm gonna create a new function. Call it CIY underscore services underscore add underscore meta underscore box. And in here, let's add underscore meta underscore box. And in here, we're gonna need a services price. Let's set that as an ID there. And then we need the title. So we're gonna do title the price. And next we need a callback function. So let's create then CIY underscore services underscore price underscore callback. And the next thing is the screen. So we need it's for the services post type and how to display it. Right, so we're going to use just the normal. Then also where look kind of the priority, and it's going to be high, so it's going to be at the top, right under the text, under the main content. Okay, and under the here we need to add an action. And add action, let's see, we need to add underscore meta underscore boxes. And after that, we need a CIY underscore. Oh, well, actually, we just need the. Let's do copy this little guy here. Let's do semicolon at the end. Okay, right. So what we need now is we need to create this function here, the callback function. So let's copy the one there, and let's create a function. And in here, let's do a global and post. Okay. Now once again, let's create same function here. So variable. So here get underscore post underscore meta. And in here, we're going to take in the post, and then we're going to target the ID. And then we need again the services field. So CIY underscore services underscore field. Then true. Same there. And then let's get out of PHP and let's create a little form here. So the label is for CIY underscore services field. And then in here, that's the services price, the label. Right, then the input with text, and then let's do an ID of CIY underscore services underscore field. And then the name with CIY underscore services field. Then do the size to 25. And then the value. So let's do PHP, close it there, and then print the price, semicolon. All right, and then under here, let's jump back into PHP, and then under here, that's that. Let's save that. Let's go back to our down here and let's refresh. Something wrong. Let's figure out what's wrong here. Let's go back to our file structure and let's scroll up here and see what we are. So it starts up here. So set service columns. The column price. This one looks right. Then services post columns, right? There's something called propose. Oh, okay. This needs to be custom posts, custom column, or actually column. Is that right? Right. Let's do that. See what it does. So refresh. All right. Now you got the price and description and all that. So if we go into our custom post type here and let's change the price there and let's update. Okay, and then we go back out. See, it hasn't changed there yet. So we need to save this into the database. All right, so we go back here. It's back into 30 a month. So let's head back here and let's add to the database. So let's go all the way back and here let's add a comment, add to database. And this is pretty much the same as we did before in the previous video with the design plugin. So let's go into our design plugin and I'm just gonna copy this whole thing. I'm gonna copy the save design price data. Let's copy that and let's paste it in. All right, so let's change the name here, function name from design to services. All right, so we have CIY underscore save underscore services underscore price underscore data, and it takes in the variable post ID as a parameter. Then if it's if it wants auto save, right? So it brings in the post ID, and if it's a revision or editing, and takes in the post ID there as well. Then if statement. So if it is auto saving or if it's a revision, let's return it. Just return back to the page. And now if we don't, then just do post variable. So we need to get the post and we need to look for the post ID. And now we can target the post and the post type. And the post type is not designs, it's services. All right. Now if we find this one, services, we need to save the price field data. So we do an if statement, and if this key exists for services, so it's looking for this field here. And we call that services field. So it's this one up here. You can see we have used it before. So it's this field there, and then the post super global. And if this exists, then we will update the meta. So it's looking for the post ID. And instead of design field, it's looking for the services field. And the post super global is this field here. So services field. So it's a name here. All right. So that's what we're looking for. Then if everything's fine, we'll save it, save post, and add action here, save post. And then instead of this here, we'll just change design to services, like so. All right. Let's save it. Now it should be saving into the database. So let's go back here and refresh. And now let's change this from 30 to 20. Let's update. And if we go back out, you see it changes here from 30 to 20. And if we go back in here, just change, we're still at $20 per month. So that's fine, excellent. Now let's create a short code for this. So under here, let's add short code so we can display on the front end. Okay, so I'm gonna add a function. I'm gonna call it get underscore services underscore post underscore type. And in here, we are going to create a variable called arguments or args. And I'm going to show those post per page. And in my case, I'm just going to show everyone, all of them. If you do -1, it will show all posts. And the post type I want to display here is the services, like so, and semicolon after the last bracket. And then let's go down and create a variable, I'm going to call it string. And it's going to be an empty string like this. Then let's create the loop. So a variable called loop, and in here I'm going to do new vp underscore query, and I'm just going to bring in the arguments variable. All right, after that, now we're free to create the actual standard WordPress loop. So I'm going to if, and in here variable loop, and then gonna call for have posts, like so. And up here, let's bring in the variable string, and we're gonna append this one and create a section with a class of section and another class of section services, like so. Semicolon at the end, and then another string. And in this string, we're gonna create an h2 tag, h2, and let's call it my services. H2, let's close that one, and semicolon at the end. And then finally here, I'm going to create a UL tag. All right, so we need to want to append this string to our previous string. So you do a dot, a period, and then equal sign. All right, so this one would tag onto these previous strings. Okay, so ul, like so. All right, let's create the while loop, and the same here, the loop. And now let's target have posts. So have underscore posts, like so. And next, we need to bring in the post loop, the post, like this. This is pretty awesome. And now let's bring in the custom post meta value. So we created a variable before called price. So let's bring that one in again. And here we need to get post meta, and in here takes in get the ID function. This is a WordPress function, and after that we need to call the CIY services field, which we have done before. Services field, okay, and then true. All right, good. Now we've done that. Let's add a string variable. Okay, and in here we need a li, and we need a class of CIY underscore service underscore card underscore plugin, and close it off there, and semicolon at the end, and then another string variable. And in here, I want to get the post thumbnail, so just get the post thumbnail, like so, and then another string variable. And in here, let's do h2. I want to bring the h2 and the title. Okay, and get the title. Then close off the h2 tag, like so, and then semicolon at the end. And next, we need another string variable, and for this one, we are going to bring in the price. And I actually want another h2 tag here. So h2, by this one, I'm going to give it a class of DIY underscore services underscore price. All right, and then we're going to add the variable price, which we have up here, and then close off the h2 tag, like so. All right, now let's get the content. Let's append that. So let's do a p tag, and then outside the single quote. So get underscore the underscore content, and then close off the p tag, like so. And then let's add a button. Let's do string, and then let's do a button on click. Then let's get the permalink, then get page by path. Let's do the contact page, like so, and then add what type button. Okay, and then just comment or a text there, get this. Keep it simple, and close off the button tag like this, and then single quote, semicolon at the end. All right, so that's that. Now let's close off this li element. So let's do li like this. All right, now let's end the while loop, like so. And now let's end the ul tag, ul semicolon at the end, and then let's close off the section. All right, so section, like so, and then end if. Right, so end if statement. Nice. Now let's reset the post data. So let's reset the loop. So reset post data, semicolon at the end, and then return the string variable. All right. Now let's add the short code. So add underscore short code, and we're gonna call it CIY underscore services underscore cards, and then let's just add the function name up here. So get services host type. Let's paste that one in down here as a second variable, and semicolon at the end. Let's save. All right, and let's refresh. And then let's go to our pages. Into a services page, let's add a shortcode block like this. Okay, and we had CIY underscore services underscore cards. Don't forget to put them in brackets like this. And let's update. Let's go back here and let's refresh. See if it works. Right, we got the cards right like here. So let's style these here. But before we do that, we need to add a function so we can install and deactivate and delete this whole thing. So what I'm going to do is pretty much the same as we did before. I'm just going to copy and paste what I did in the previous plugin, the previous video. So at the bottom here in the functions file for our design plugin, let's copy the whole thing and let's paste it in bottom here. All right, so let's change the functions here. So designs post function, we got the services post type install. All right, instead of designs, we need services, and obviously change the name there to services. And for the deactivate function, let's do services post type deactivate and change here as well, services. And down here, register the deactivation hook, change that to services. And then for the uninstall function, let's then change that to services. This is the same. This is the same. Change the designs to services. Services like this. And everything here else there is the same. And then the register uninstall hook, change that to services. Let's save that. Let's refresh. Let's go out to the backend and refresh. We're not getting any errors. Let's go to our plugins. No errors. Let's refresh. No errors. Right, good. Nice. And we can just double check here. So we have our services plugin. Let's deactivate. All right, plugin deactivated. Nothing happens. Nice. All right, so let's activate this one again. Good. Now let's style this whole thing here. So we are going to go back to our file structure and we need to enqueue our files at the top here. And first I'm going to create the assets folder. So I'm going to create a folder called assets, and in here I'm going to create a folder called CSS. And the CSS folder, I'm going to create a file. I was going to call it style.css. So that's that. And in our functions, we need to enqueue the whole thing here. So I'm going to create a new function, and I'm going to call it my services script. So function, actually, just going to comment there, enqueue our files. Then the function, call it my services scripts. All right, and then let's call for the style. So vp underscore enqueue underscore style, and then let's do CLI underscore services underscore style. Then the plugin underscore directory URL. Then we need a file. It takes us back to the root, and then from here we're gonna go into our assets folder, and then our CSS folder, and then find the style.css, and then no dependencies. So you can empty array, and then version 1.0.0, and then it's going to be for all our media. Right, so let's do all like this. Okay, and then let's run the script to add action. Right, so we need vp vp underscore enq underscore scripts, and then the name of this function. Paste it in there, and let's go back to the backend, and then let's go into our style.css. All right, and then let's do just body, so we can sort of check. So background color is red. So let's see if it works. All right, back to our front end, and let's refresh. You see the background is now red. So this file is working. All right, so let's change all that, delete that, and let's work our magic here. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is I want to target the section and services and the h2 tags. So services or section underscore services, and then the h2. We'll have text align. Let's do center. And then the font size, I want the 3M. And let's refresh, and let's go back to our front end, and let's refresh here. All right, so takes in the h2 tags. Next, let's target the UL. So section underscore services, and then UL. All right, so the margin, I want a margin top of 20 pixels. I want to display this as a grid, and the grid, I want 3 columns, grid template columns, and it's going to be the same size. So just do auto 3 times. Auto. So with 3 columns, and the size is going to be automatically fit in there, so it'll be all equal size. And then the gap between is 20 pixels. Let's save that, and let's go back here. Refresh. All right, so we can see a little here. Yeah, right. We need style rest, but that works fine. Good. Let's see. Under the UL, let's target the CIY, the service card. Services underscore card underscore plugin. On the list style, it should be none, and the box shadow, I want 0 4 pixels on the side and 8 pixel below it, and then nothing on the side on the left side. And then the color, let's do RGBA, and then 0 0 0, and then opacity 0.2. All right, and then max width should be 300 pixels. All right, the margin, let's do an auto, and then text align inside here, center, and then margin bottom 20 pixels. Let's say that, see what it does, and let's do that. All right, nice. So you can see down here, these are the LIs lined up nicely. Now we need to do something about the pictures. So let's head back here, and let's copy this element here, and let's add image, and I want the width to be 100% inside this the container here, the li, and the height is to be auto. All right, so let's see what it does. All right, now it's looking fairly good. So now let's target these h2 tags. So again, I'm going to copy and paste this element services card plugin. Instead of image, I'm going to do the h2, and here I need a margin top of 20 pixels, and the font size make it a little bit smaller. Font size 1.2 M, and save that. Refresh. All right, so now it looks much better. All right, let's deal with the rest. So next thing we need to do here under this one is the services price. So CIY underscore services underscore price, and in here we need a color. It's going to be gray, and then the font size 1.2 M as well, and then the margin top. Actually, we can do just margin. All right, margin top should be 20 pixels. Nothing on the side. Margin bottom 20 pixels, and then nothing on the left side, like this. Let's save that. Let's refresh. All right, looking all right. Now let's get down here. Actually, we need some margins on the side. Actually, so let's do 5 pixels. 5 pixels. It looks any better. All right, so we get some separation here. Okay, good. Now let's head back here, and under services, let's go back into a services card plugin, and let's target the p tag. Right, and the margin for this should be 0, and then we need 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and then 10 pixels, and I can probably just revert this back to 0. Let's save and refresh. All right, so now you get the margins here on the sides. All right, and after this one, let's target the button. So let's target the plugin again, and then add the button tag there. With border of none, the outline 0, padding all around 12 pixels. The color of the text, the whitish color. The background color for this one is very dark color, and then the text line, let's center it, and the cursor, let's do a pointer, and then the width should be 100%, and the font size, I want 1.2 M, and then letter spacing 1 pixel. All right, let's save that, refresh. All right, there we go. All right, we got a little pointer as well. Let's change the color when we're hovering over it. So let's paste it in a button, hover, and I want the opacity to maybe 0.7. So let's see what it does. When I hover over here, you can see the opacity. All right, cool. Let's do something about the mobile version. See, it doesn't look good if we make the screen a little bit smaller. So let's add a media query at the bottom here. The comment and then media queries. All right, so let's do at media screen and max width of 800 pixels. And in here, let's target the section services UL, because we don't want any grid here anymore. So let's display this as a block, and then for the say IY services car plugin, let's do max width of 100%, like so. Let's go back here. Let's refresh. All right, and let's shrink it. Right, and so the point it will take up the whole width here, 100%. All right, so it looks good on smaller devices there as well. Cool, so that's pretty much it for this video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.